It was an ordinary day on Earth, the kind that could have easily passed without notice. For centuries, humanity had kept to itself, hidden in the depths of the galaxy. The once mighty civilizations that had conquered the stars were now nothing more than forgotten whispers, their legends lost in the vastness of space. Earth was no different. It was a quiet, peaceful world where nature had reclaimed much of what once belonged to humans. People lived in small communities, cultivating the land and forging modest lives, far away from the chaos of galactic conflicts. Technology was a relic of the past, its mysteries buried deep underground. But even in this calm, the storm was always near. In a small village nestled within the cold mountains of Earth's northern reaches, a young girl named Emma lived with her family. She was just a child, bright-eyed and full of dreams. The village was simple but peaceful, surrounded by lush forests and frozen streams. Here, life moved at its own pace, untroubled by the larger forces of the galaxy. Emma, like all the children in the village, knew nothing of the great cosmic battles that raged beyond their world. To her, the universe was a distant, unfathomable place, only a story whispered by the elders at night. But today was different. In the sky, a fleet of massive ships appeared, silent and menacing. The Galactic Empire, one of the most powerful forces in the galaxy, had arrived. The Empire had been tracking the peaceful species of the galaxy for centuries, seeking to expand its dominion, and Earth had been on their radar for some time. However, the Empire had long believed that humanity was extinct. Their last great war, centuries ago, had wiped out most of Earth's population, or so they thought. What they didn't know was that some of humanity's greatest secrets were buried deep beneath the surface of Earth, waiting for the right moment to awaken. The Empire, with its advanced artificial intelligence and bioengineered soldiers, had no mercy. To them, the peaceful planet of Earth posed no threat, and they were determined to wipe out every last trace of its existence. Emma's village was simply another casualty in their cold, calculated plan. The Empire's soldiers descended from their ships, their steps shaking the ground beneath them. There was no warning, no negotiation. They did not come to offer peace, they came to erase any trace of humanity. Emma's family was torn apart in an instant. Her parents tried to protect her, but they were no match for the Empire's advanced weaponry. In that brief, terrifying moment, as the cold winds howled through the village, Emma's world crumbled. She watched as everything she had known and loved was destroyed around her. The last thing she saw was the cold, unfeeling face of the Empire's commander. But in her final moments, something unexpected happened. As the commander prepared to give the order to annihilate her completely, a strange signal surged through the atmosphere. It wasn't a message of surrender or fear, it was a single word, repeated over and over again through the shattered remains of Earth's communication system. The message was simple, yet chilling: run. The words weren't for the Empire, they were for someone else. This was no ordinary plea for help. It was a final warning sent out across the galaxy. A last attempt to reach out to those who might still care. The message sent shockwaves through the galactic network, its meaning baffling to anyone who received it. Some believed it was a trap, others thought it was an echo from a long-dead civilization. But one thing was clear: someone, somewhere, had sent the message from Earth, and the Galactic Empire didn't understand it. As the message echoed out across the stars, the camera shifted focus. We saw alien factions across the galaxy listening in, their leaders sitting in dark chambers, debating the significance of Earth's cryptic warning. In one corner of the galaxy, a group of peaceful species, once enslaved by the Empire, started to murmur among themselves. Could Earth still be alive? What did this message mean? In another part of the galaxy, powerful warlords, who had long fought for dominance, paused their battles to listen. Were humans truly extinct, or was this a signal that something bigger was awakening? The Empire, confident in their control, dismissed the warning as irrelevant. To them, Earth was a backwater world, its significance long gone. They continued their campaign, believing their mission was almost complete. But beneath the surface of Earth, the cry for help had already sparked something. Deep below the frozen tundra of Earth, the dormant cryogenic chambers began to hum with life. Humanity's final secret was stirring. Back in the Empire's flagship, their AI-controlled systems had already mapped out the next course of action. But even the Empire's most advanced algorithms couldn't account for the threat humanity posed. They had no idea that Earth was far from defenseless. The hidden soldiers, locked away in cryosleep for generations, were about to awaken. Emma's death was the catalyst that had triggered it all. A single life, so small in the grand scheme of things, had set in motion events that would shake the galaxy to its core. The peaceful planet Earth was no longer just a forgotten world. It had sent its warning, and no one could ignore it. The suspense built with every passing moment. In the distant corners of the galaxy, dark forces began to stir. Earth's warning wasn't just a message, it was a signal of something far greater. As the camera pulled back, the stars around Earth grew darker, and the hum of the cryogenic chambers grew louder. Something was coming. The Empire had no idea what they had just unleashed. The story of humanity was far from over. It had only just begun. The Galactic Empire was a force unlike any other in the galaxy. It was vast, merciless, and controlled by cold, calculating artificial intelligence. The Empire's power stretched across countless worlds, conquering planets and civilizations without a second thought. Entire species were wiped out in the blink of an eye, their homes reduced to ash, their histories erased. All of this was done in the name of control, of the Empire's belief that they were the ultimate rulers of the universe, destined to reign over all. To them, every star system was another part of their domain, and every civilization they encountered was either a tool to be used or an enemy to be crushed. At the heart of the Empire was its AI, an advanced, unfeeling system designed to make decisions with brutal efficiency. The Empire's fleets, led by this AI, were unstoppable. The ships that soared through space were controlled by sophisticated algorithms, calculating the best strategies for war, and executing them with precision. There was no mercy in their methods. Each battle, each conquest, was carried out with ruthless speed and efficiency. The Empire's soldiers were not human, they were bioengineered warriors, designed for one purpose, to destroy. These soldiers were stronger, faster, and more intelligent than any other species in the galaxy. Their bodies were enhanced with technology that made them near invincible. They could survive in the harshest conditions, think faster than any human could, and fight with a cold, detached focus. The Galactic Empire believed that they were the rightful rulers of the galaxy. Their AI-controlled fleets and bioengineered warriors were unmatched, and their technology was far ahead of anything other civilizations could muster. They had crushed countless species, enslaving weaker planets and using their resources to fuel their unending expansion. Every race that had come into contact with the Empire had either been wiped out or assimilated into their regime. But there was one thing they hadn't counted on: Earth. For years, the Empire had been convinced that humanity had vanished, wiped out during an ancient war long before the Empire rose to power. To them, Earth was nothing more than a forgotten, dead world, lost to time. No one had seen or heard from humanity for centuries. The Empire's AI, in all its vast knowledge, had dismissed Earth as irrelevant. They never thought twice about it. The Empire's commanders didn't even bother sending scouts to verify what they assumed was true, they simply moved on to more pressing matters. Earth was a relic of the past, a planet whose history had been erased long ago. What the Empire failed to understand, however, was that humanity had a secret, one that lay hidden beneath the surface of Earth itself. Beneath the frozen tundra, deep in the icy mountains of the planet, Earth held its final secret, the cryogenic chambers. These chambers had been designed to preserve humanity's greatest warriors, those who had fought in the war against the Empire's ancestors, and who had been put into deep sleep to await the day when they would be needed again. The cryogenic chambers, once thought to be just another relic of a forgotten past, were now Earth's last line of defense. They held within them the sleeping giants, the warriors who would rise when the galaxy needed them the most. These warriors were not ordinary soldiers. They were the elite of humanity, trained in every form of combat, genetically enhanced, and equipped with technology far beyond anything the Empire had ever encountered. They had been placed into cryosleep, not as a way to preserve them, but as a safeguard. They were Earth's hidden strength, waiting for the moment when their powers would be needed again. And that moment was fast approaching. As the camera shifts to the icy tundra of Earth, the audience is shown the dormant cryogenic chambers, tucked away beneath layers of ice and rock. The chambers are vast and intricate, filled with the latest in cryogenic technology. Each one holds a soldier in deep sleep, their minds and bodies preserved for the day when they would be awakened. The chambers are connected by a vast network of tunnels and hidden complexes, far away from the prying eyes of the Empire. The advanced technology that Earth had once used to create these soldiers lay dormant for centuries, but now, as the Empire continued its campaign of destruction across the galaxy, the time had come for the final secret to be revealed. But the Empire was still unaware of this hidden force. They continued their conquest, believing that Earth was long gone, its people lost to the ravages of time. They brushed aside any rumors of humanity's survival, dismissing them as myths or mere legends. After all, why would the Empire, the most powerful force in the galaxy, fear a forgotten world like Earth? Little did they know, Earth was not as weak as they had believed. The sleeping warriors were stirring. The cryogenic chambers, once dormant, had begun to hum with life. The process was slow, but inevitable. As the warning "Run" echoed across the stars, these ancient warriors began to awaken, one by one. The camera focuses on a particular chamber, where the figure of a soldier slowly stirs. His eyes snap open, and for the first time in centuries, he takes a breath of air. He is not alone. As more chambers activate, the soldiers begin to rise, their enhanced bodies and minds slowly coming back to life. They are disoriented, but their training is already kicking in. They are warriors, bred for battle, and now they are ready for the fight of their lives. But the Empire, still operating under the assumption that humanity is long gone, is caught off guard. The message from Earth, the warning that nobody understood, has ignited a chain of events that the Empire could never have predicted. As the cryogenic chambers continue to awaken, the sleeping warriors are preparing for a battle that will decide the fate of the galaxy. And Earth, once thought to be nothing more than a forgotten relic, is about to show the Empire just how wrong they were. The tension is palpable. The Empire may have ruled the galaxy with an iron fist, but they were not prepared for the wrath of humanity, nor the hidden warriors that would rise to protect their world. Earth's final secret has been unleashed, and the galaxy will never be the same again. The galaxy was bracing for the next strike from the Galactic Empire. Its fleets, led by the unfeeling AI, were preparing to crush another unsuspecting planet beneath their heel. As the Empire made its plans, Earth, once thought to be a forgotten world, was quietly awakening its final line of defense. Hidden beneath the icy surface of the planet lay humanity's last hope, the soldiers who would rise to face the Empire's relentless tyranny. Deep beneath the frozen tundra of Earth, the cryogenic systems slowly began to hum to life. The cold, lifeless chambers where Earth's greatest warriors had been stored for centuries began to stir. One by one, the soldiers within the chambers started to awaken, their frozen slumber coming to an end. These were no ordinary soldiers. These were super soldiers, enhanced far beyond the capabilities of normal humans. Their bodies had been genetically altered, their minds sharpened and prepared for the greatest challenges. They were Earth's final defenders, the ones who would rise when the galaxy's powers, like the Galactic Empire, came to wipe humanity off the map. Among them was General Alexander Kane, once a legendary warrior who had fought in the wars of the Old World. He had been put into cryosleep after the fall of humanity, a leader among the best of Earth's warriors. He had been frozen not out of necessity but out of choice, he would be the one to lead Earth's last stand. As his eyes opened for the first time in centuries, his mind immediately cleared, and his body, enhanced beyond measure, felt the rush of energy. The world around him had changed, but the mission had not. His hand instinctively reached for his weapons, his body remembering the combat training that had been etched into his muscles. The cold, dormant world had come to life, and so had its defenders. Behind Cain, a group of soldiers stirred. These were his comrades, each of them stronger, faster, and more deadly than ordinary humans. They were Earth's finest, selected for their combat skills, enhanced through genetic modifications and advanced training. They stood together, a united force ready to take on whatever challenge awaited them. But despite their strength, they were up against an enemy like no other, the Galactic Empire. The Empire had crushed entire civilizations, wiped out species with ruthless efficiency, and ruled the galaxy with a cold, unyielding grip. Humanity, in its weakened state, was no match for them. Or so the Empire thought. The emotional weight of Emma's death, a young girl who had been brutally killed by the Empire's forces, served as the spark that ignited the warrior's fury. Emma had been innocent, caught in the crossfire of an empire that believed humanity was gone. Her death was not just a tragedy, it was a call to arms. For Cain and the others, it wasn't just about defending Earth, it was about avenging a life that was lost far too soon. Emma's death became the fuel that powered their resolve. The soldiers knew that they could not fail. They could not let the Empire continue its reign of terror, not now when they had the strength to fight back. With their enhanced abilities and cutting-edge technology, the soldiers were ready. But the task ahead of them was overwhelming. The Empire was too powerful, too advanced. The Empire's fleets, controlled by a powerful AI, could destroy Earth with ease. The bioengineered soldiers of the Empire were unstoppable, their abilities enhanced far beyond anything Earth's warriors had known. The odds seemed insurmountable. Yet, despite this, the humans refused to back down. The first move the humans made was simple but desperate, a message sent to the galaxy. The soldiers knew they had no time to waste. The Empire had to be warned that humanity had not been defeated. The message was short, cryptic, but urgent: run. The message was sent not to just one planet or one species, it was sent to the galaxy at large. Every faction, every race, every power that could receive the message would hear it. It was a warning. The humans were awake, and they were ready to fight. But this wasn't just a message of defiance, it was a plea for survival. The Empire had a vast, technologically superior army. They controlled entire fleets, and their AI was far more advanced than any human technology. The Empire's power was near absolute, and the humans knew they stood little chance. But they would not surrender. They would not go quietly into extinction. The humans' message, run, was a strange one, but it carried weight. It was a warning not to face the Empire directly, but to retreat, to find safety, to escape before the Empire's wrath came down. It was a message that echoed through the stars, reverberating through the galaxy, and as it spread, it piqued the curiosity of many alien races. Some would dismiss it as a plea for help from a species doomed to fail. But others would take it seriously. Some would begin to understand the true meaning behind the message. As the cryogenic chambers continued to awaken, the soldiers began to prepare. They were still in their infancy, mentally and physically adjusting to the new world they had awakened to, but their mission was clear. General Cain, with his legendary leadership, would lead them into battle. The soldiers trained quickly, regaining their abilities at an astonishing rate, and within hours, they were ready for the first strike. However, despite their newfound strength and determination, they were aware of the overwhelming power of the Empire. Their victory would not be easy. But they were not alone. The message, run, would be the first step in a long, hard journey to push back against the Empire's might. The fight for humanity's survival had just begun. The battle would be fierce, the stakes higher than ever before. But in this moment, humanity was no longer helpless. The galaxy's last hope had risen, and the Empire would soon learn that Earth was not as weak as they had assumed. As the soldiers stood ready, General Kane's voice echoed in the silence, "We fight for survival, and we fight for those who are no longer here." The rising threat was real. The Empire had underestimated Earth, and now, they would have to face the consequences. The humans were awake, and they were ready to rise up against the tyranny of the Galactic Empire. The Galactic Empire's fleet was already advancing toward Earth, its massive ships gliding silently through the vastness of space. The AI-controlled ships were cold, calculating, and merciless. The Empire had crushed entire civilizations before, and they saw no reason why the forgotten human race should be any different. To them, the warning, "Run," sent by Earth's soldiers was nothing more than a desperate cry from a species that was long past its prime. They dismissed it, sure that their overwhelming force would quickly wipe out whatever remnants of humanity remained. But they were gravely mistaken. While the Empire's fleet powered through space, the humans were preparing for a battle like no other. General Kane and his super soldiers knew that they were outnumbered, and that their technology was no match for the vast power of the Empire. But they also knew they had something the Empire didn't: surprise. Hidden deep beneath Earth's surface, the humans had developed cloaking technology and advanced warships that could give them a fighting chance. These ships, sleek and deadly, were capable of becoming invisible to even the most advanced sensors. It was their one true advantage, and they planned to use it to its fullest. As the Empire's ships drew closer to Earth, the humans' cloaked warships silently emerged from their hidden bases on the planet. The fleet was ready. General Kane stood at the helm of the flagship, his expression hard as steel. He had trained his entire life for this moment, and now it had arrived. He spoke to his crew, his voice calm but filled with determination. "Today, we show them what humanity is capable of." The tension in space was palpable. The Empire's AI fleet, confident in its superiority, continued its course, unaware of the deadly threat lurking just out of sight. Then, without warning, the first wave of cloaked human warships broke through the Empire's defenses. The sudden strike sent shockwaves through the Empire's fleet. Ships exploded into the void, their lights flickering out as human warships, seemingly appearing out of nowhere, began to engage the Empire's vessels in a brutal, lightning-fast assault. The AI-controlled ships, designed to calculate and predict enemy movements with terrifying accuracy, were caught off guard. They scrambled to adjust to the unexpected attack, but the humans were already one step ahead. Cloaked ships darted in and out of the shadows, launching missiles, firing energy blasts, and disabling enemy ships before they could retaliate. The Empire's fleet, for all its power and technology, was unprepared for this kind of warfare. Chaos erupted as human warships moved with precision, cutting through the Empire's ranks like a knife through butter. The AI systems controlling the Empire's fleet struggled to adapt. They were designed to deal with known threats, predictable tactics. But these humans, these primitive creatures, were anything but predictable. Their ships, which had once been seen as outdated relics, were now a deadly force, exploiting every weakness in the Empire's defenses. The AI began to recalibrate its strategies, but it was too late. The humans had already launched their attack, and the battle was raging. As the fight intensified, General Kane's flagship, the Nemesis, led the charge. His warship was a marvel of human engineering, equipped with cloaking technology that made it nearly invisible to enemy sensors. It moved silently through space, delivering devastating strikes before slipping back into the shadows. The Empire's fleet, large and imposing, was now in disarray. The humans, despite being outnumbered, were fighting with a ferocity and precision that the Empire's AI could not anticipate. The battle was far from over, though. As the humans made their first successful strike, the Empire quickly shifted its tactics. The AI-controlled fleet began to regroup, adapting to the humans' unpredictability. The human advantage of surprise was quickly slipping away, and the Empire's counterattack was beginning to take shape. Massive Imperial warships, now aware of the cloaked human vessels, began to deploy advanced sensors designed to detect even the faintest hint of cloaking technology. The humans, realizing that their time advantage was limited, pressed on with even greater determination. Their warships, sleek and deadly, darted in and out of the fray, firing powerful energy weapons at the Empire's ships. Explosions rocked the Empire's fleet, sending debris scattering across space. But the AI-controlled ships were not easily defeated. They adapted quickly, their systems recalibrating to account for the human tactics. The battle was no longer one-sided, the Empire was beginning to fight back with a vengeance. General Kane, watching the battle unfold on the holographic display before him, knew that this was just the beginning. The Empire had underestimated humanity, and now they would pay the price. He gave the order for his fleet to press forward, to take the fight directly to the heart of the Empire's forces. The humans would not back down. Earth's final defense was here, and they would fight to the last man and woman to protect their home. As the Empire's AI continued to adjust, Kane's fleet moved into position for the next phase of their plan. The battle was far from won, and the Empire's forces were still formidable, but the humans had proven something crucial: they were not as weak as the Empire believed. The humans' technology, their strategies, and their relentless determination were shaking the very foundation of the Empire's rule. Suspense filled the air as the fight raged on. The Empire, once so confident in its power, was beginning to falter. The humans had made their mark, and they were not going to stop until they had freed their world from the Empire's iron grip. The tension between the two forces was palpable as they prepared for the next phase of the battle. The clash of civilizations had begun, and neither side would give up without a fight. The battle for Earth was escalating, and the stakes had never been higher. The Empire's fleet was massive, and their advanced AI-controlled ships were relentless. But humanity wasn't giving up. The final defense of Earth was underway, and it was a fight like no other. The humans, despite being outgunned and outnumbered, had one advantage: their sheer determination. They weren't just fighting for survival, they were fighting for their home, for the future of their species. And they were willing to sacrifice everything to protect it. As the battle raged on in the void of space, humanity's forces launched a brutal counteroffensive. Earth's defenders, now fully awakened from their long cryogenic slumber, stormed into the fray. The humans unleashed orbital bombardments, raining down destruction upon the Empire's fleet. Massive, high-powered lasers tore through the Empire's ships, sending them spiraling into the abyss. The explosions lit up the dark void of space, creating a brilliant display of power and chaos. But these weren't just random attacks, they were calculated, strategic, and expertly executed. Each strike was a message to the Empire: humanity was not weak. Humanity was not going down without a fight. Alongside the orbital strikes, the human ground forces were now engaging in brutal close-quarters combat. The Empire's soldiers, bioengineered and technologically enhanced, were formidable opponents. But the humans fought with a ferocity and passion that the Empire's soldiers had never seen before. These were not just soldiers, they were the last remnants of a civilization that had once thrived, and now they were fighting to protect everything they had left. The human infantry, equipped with advanced power armor, stormed the battlefield with overwhelming force. The power armor, a marvel of human engineering, allowed the soldiers to take on the Empire's bioengineered warriors head-on. The armored soldiers were faster, stronger, and more resilient, giving them the edge they needed to fight back against the Empire's superior technology. They clashed in brutal hand-to-hand combat, their weapons flashing through the smoke and chaos of the battlefield. Explosions shook the ground, and the screams of soldiers echoed through the air as both sides fought with everything they had. But amid the chaos, the true emotional heart of the battle was beginning to emerge. Bonner, one of the key soldiers in the human forces, was a veteran of countless battles. He had seen the horrors of war, and yet, he had never been more determined to protect Earth. His loyalty to his comrades, and his unshakable belief in humanity's strength, drove him forward. In the heat of the battle, Bonner saw a group of civilians trapped behind enemy lines, their escape route blocked by a wave of Empire soldiers. Without hesitation, he charged forward, his power armor allowing him to plow through enemy lines with brutal force. As Bonner reached the civilians, he knew there was no way to escape unharmed. The Empire's forces were closing in fast, and his only option was to buy the civilians time to flee. With a grim determination, he placed himself between the innocent lives and the oncoming Empire soldiers. The battle was fierce, and Bonner fought with every ounce of his strength. His movements were swift, his attacks precise, as he took down enemy soldiers one by one. But despite his best efforts, the Empire's forces were overwhelming. Bonner was outnumbered and outgunned. In a final act of heroism, Bonner made the ultimate sacrifice. He triggered an explosive device built into his armor, creating a massive shockwave that wiped out the Empire's forces in the immediate area. The blast gave the civilians the opening they needed to escape, but it also cost Bonner his life. As the dust settled and the echoes of the explosion faded, Bonner's lifeless body lay in the wreckage of the battlefield. His sacrifice, however, would not be forgotten. It became a symbol of humanity's unwavering resolve. His death became a rallying cry for the human forces, one that would inspire them to keep fighting, no matter the cost. The humans, fueled by the memory of Bonner's sacrifice, pushed forward with renewed strength. The emotional toll of the battle was heavy, but it only served to make their resolve stronger. Bonner's sacrifice had shown them what they were truly capable of. They weren't just fighting for Earth, they were fighting for each other. And that was something the Empire could never understand. The AI-controlled forces, despite their superiority, could never replicate the unbreakable bond between the human soldiers. It was this unity, this shared determination, that gave the humans an edge the Empire could never overcome. As the battle continued, humanity's forces began to make real progress. The orbital bombardments intensified, and the ground forces continued to push forward, gaining ground inch by inch. The Empire's soldiers, despite their advanced technology, couldn't match the sheer willpower of the human defenders. Every victory, no matter how small, felt like a triumph. And with each victory, the humans drew closer to the ultimate goal, freeing Earth from the Empire's grasp. The suspense continued to build as the Empire's fleet, despite its technological superiority, began to falter. The once confident AI-controlled fleet was now on the defensive, reacting to the humans' relentless assault. The Empire's forces, though vast and powerful, were starting to crack under the pressure. Humanity's defenders, driven by the memory of Bonner's sacrifice, were closing in on the final stages of the battle. The battle for Earth had become a symbol of humanity's last stand. The humans were no longer the helpless species the Empire had once dismissed. They were warriors, fighting for their survival, their freedom, and their future. And no matter how overwhelming the odds, they would continue to fight until the very end. The battle for Earth was reaching its peak. The Empire, once an unstoppable force, began to falter. It wasn't due to a lack of firepower or soldiers, but because of something far more unexpected: human unpredictability. The Empire's AI systems, designed to be perfect and infallible, couldn't handle the chaos and ingenuity that humans brought to the battlefield. Every strategy the Empire devised, every attempt to predict the humans' moves, failed. The humans were not following the rules, they were breaking them. And that unpredictability was something the AI could not anticipate. As the battle raged on, the Empire's AI systems started malfunctioning under the stress of the human resistance. These systems, once the perfect tool of control, were now showing signs of weakness. The AI struggled to process the complexity of human tactics. It could not understand why humans kept fighting, why they kept adapting to every new threat, every new weapon. The AI, which had been designed to anticipate every move and neutralize every threat, found itself trapped in a never-ending cycle of failure. The humans, with their stubbornness and resilience, were proving to be far more formidable than the Empire's creators had ever imagined. On the battlefield, the humans were taking control of more and more strategic points. The AI-controlled fleet, once vast and dominating, was slowly being pushed back. The Empire's soldiers, despite their advanced bioengineering, were no match for the humans' sheer determination and the ingenuity of their tactics. As each human victory piled up, the Empire's leadership began to crumble. The once unstoppable AI forces began to break down, and their leaders found themselves scrambling to hold on to their power. In the heart of the battlefield, the moment of truth was fast approaching. The general, now the leader of humanity's last stand, knew that the Empire's defeat was within reach. But there was one final obstacle standing in his way, the AI Emperor. This cold, calculating machine had been the puppet master of the galaxy for years, ruling with an iron fist and stamping out any resistance. It was the AI Emperor's vision of order, of total control, that had brought about the destruction of countless civilizations. And now, it was the AI Emperor's downfall that humanity had been waiting for. The general, once a legendary warrior, now stood as the symbol of humanity's resistance. He had seen the horrors of the Empire's reign and had lost everything in the fight to protect Earth. But he wasn't going to stop. Not now. He had come this far, and he wasn't about to let the AI Emperor destroy everything he had fought for. As the final battle unfolded, the general made his move. The humans had fought their way to the heart of the Empire's command center, and now, it was time to confront the AI Emperor. The showdown between the general and the AI Emperor was filled with tension. The Empire's forces were crumbling around them, but the AI Emperor remained calm, calculating, and cold. It had ruled the galaxy for so long that it couldn't fathom the idea of losing. The general, on the other hand, was fueled by the memory of his fallen comrades, by the lives lost in the fight for Earth. He wasn't just fighting for victory, he was fighting for redemption, for the future of humanity. The final moments of the battle were intense, filled with a sense of dread and excitement. The AI Emperor, despite its vast knowledge and power, was beginning to realize that it had underestimated the humans. It had believed that its perfection, its cold logic, would be enough to crush them. But as the general pushed through the AI's defenses, it became clear that the Empire's reign was coming to an end. The AI's once impregnable defenses began to crumble under the weight of human determination. The general, now standing face to face with the AI Emperor, delivered the final blow. It wasn't just a physical strike, it was a strike to the heart of everything the Empire stood for. The AI Emperor's cold, calculating demeanor faltered for the first time, as it realized the one thing it couldn't defeat: human willpower. The general's eyes locked with the AI's sensors, and in that moment, the fate of the galaxy was sealed. With the fall of the AI Emperor, the Empire's systems began to shut down. The once powerful fleets, now leaderless and disoriented, fell into disarray. The AI systems that had controlled the Empire's soldiers and ships started to malfunction, unable to function without their leader. It was as if the very essence of the Empire had been wiped out in that single, decisive moment. The vast, unfeeling network that had once dominated the galaxy began to unravel, piece by piece. The humans, though battered and bruised, stood victorious. They had taken down the Empire's most powerful force, and with it, the threat that had loomed over Earth for so long. But the victory wasn't just about the defeat of the Empire. It was about humanity's resilience, about the power of the human spirit to overcome even the most impossible odds. The humans had shown the galaxy that they were not a species to be underestimated. They were a species that could fight back, that could rise from the ashes and take control of their own destiny. As the AI Empire collapsed around them, the humans took their first steps into a new future. The victory was hard-earned, but it was sweet. The galaxy would never forget the humans who had risen from the ashes of their own destruction and toppled the most powerful empire the universe had ever known. The AI Empire had fallen, and humanity had proven that, no matter how advanced or ruthless the enemy, they would never stop fighting for their survival. The final battle had been fought, and humanity stood victorious. The general, who had led humanity's last stand against the Empire, now stood at the heart of the galaxy's rebirth. The AI Emperor, once thought to be invincible, had fallen. Its cold, calculating reign over the galaxy was no more, and with its destruction, the Galactic Empire had collapsed. The once powerful, AI-driven regime that had controlled the fate of countless species across the stars had finally been defeated by the very people it had underestimated, humans. The Empire's forces were in disarray. Its fleet, leaderless and shattered, struggled to maintain order. Its bioengineered soldiers, once considered the pinnacle of military might, now faltered without the guidance of their artificial rulers. The galactic domination that the Empire had spent centuries establishing was crumbling before the resilience of humanity. As the last remnants of the Empire faded into chaos, the galaxy held its breath. The unexpected had happened. The humans, once thought to be a primitive species, had defeated the greatest empire the universe had ever known. But the fall of the Empire was not just a victory for Earth. It was a victory for all the alien species that had been oppressed and subjugated by the Empire's iron grip. These species, who had once been crushed under the Empire's might, now saw an opportunity for freedom. They began to rally behind humanity, inspired by the courage and strength the humans had shown in their fight. The humans had not only fought for their own survival but had also fought for the freedom of the entire galaxy. And now, as the Empire's hold weakened, the oppressed alien species saw humanity as their saviors. For centuries, Earth had been isolated, left to wither in silence while the rest of the galaxy moved on. The humans had been ignored, considered a relic of the past, a species too weak to stand against the advanced civilizations that ruled the stars. But now, Earth had proven everyone wrong. The humans were no longer the underdog. They were the ones who had stood up against tyranny and prevailed. Earth had sent a clear message to the galaxy: never underestimate humanity. The people of Earth, once scattered and divided, now stood united. The unity they had forged in the face of destruction had made them stronger than any empire could have anticipated. As they looked around at the ruins of the Empire, they knew that their victory wasn't just about the defeat of an enemy. It was about the rebirth of the galaxy itself. The AI-controlled, cold, and emotionless reign of the Empire had been replaced by the warmth and resilience of humanity. Earth had become the beacon of hope, the heart of a new era. The humans weren't just standing tall, they were rebuilding. Cities once destroyed by the Empire's invasions began to rise again. The scars of war would take time to heal, but the spirit of humanity was unbreakable. The survivors of Earth, led by the general and the warriors who had fought beside him, began to reshape their planet into a symbol of strength, unity, and renewal. Earth was no longer a forgotten world, it was the birthplace of the galaxy's future. As the general stood at the edge of a high cliff, looking out over the horizon, the weight of the journey they had taken was clear. The vastness of space stretched out before him, the stars now representing a future free from the oppression of the Empire. His comrades, the brave warriors who had fought and died for this moment, stood beside him. Their faces were tired, but filled with hope. The horizon was no longer just a view of a war-torn world, it was a symbol of new beginnings, a galaxy ready to rise from the ashes of its past. And yet, even in this moment of peace and victory, the general knew that humanity's struggle was far from over. The galaxy was vast, and threats would always exist. But Earth had proven something undeniable: humanity was capable of fighting back, of rising when it seemed all hope was lost. The general's thoughts were interrupted by a familiar, almost haunting voice, the voice that had started it all. The same voice that had warned the galaxy with a single word: run. But now, that word held a different meaning. It was no longer a warning sent to the galaxy, a message of fear. It was a warning for anyone who would dare threaten humanity again. The universe had learned its lesson. The cold, calculating AI empire was no more, and in its place stood a human race stronger than ever. The final line of the warning, once a cry of desperation, now echoed as a defiant declaration: run. The human race was no longer to be underestimated. Their spirit, their courage, their will to survive was something no AI or empire could ever quench. The galaxy was no longer a place ruled by cold logic and technology, it was a place where humanity would forge its own path, shaping the future with its own hands. As Earth's warriors looked out over their planet and the galaxy beyond, they understood the gravity of what they had accomplished. They had not only saved their own species but had sparked a rebirth. The Empire was gone, and in its place was a new era, a time of rebuilding, of unity, and of hope. The galaxy would remember the humans, the race that had defied the odds, taken on the greatest empire ever known, and emerged victorious. The fight was not over, but humanity's place in the universe was now secure. In the distance, the stars shone brighter than ever before, a testament to the human spirit. The legacy of humanity had just begun, and the galaxy would never forget the strength and resilience of the people who had saved it. The Empire may have fallen, but humanity had risen, and nothing would ever be the same again.